I think you've got to treat everyone as individually, because not everyone's in the same mindset, not everyone's in the same level of confidence. They go from hoping and thinking they'll do well to just knowing it.
Way of Will John.
How would you structure a daily practice to enhance this? That would be my question, because normally we have to ask coaches and maybe they don't get into it or don't understand even how they did some of the things that they did. How would you structure something for, say, young guys in the game, or even, seasoned pros that want to try and tap this? What would you do?
Well, I think you've got to treat everyone as individually, because not everyone's the same. Not everyone's in the same mindset. Not everyone's in the same level of confidence. I mean, when I played for Coventry City, I saw young kids come along who had lots of ability, but didn't have the confidence, didn't know they were going to make it. They hoped it. They hoped they would. And I saw other kids come along who had a lot less ability, but they had this, I'm going to make it. And they had successful careers in the professional game, even though they had less ability than those that just dropped out of it. So you have to treat everyone according to where they're at. But it's like, it's getting people to realize that from cradle to grave, the body-brain level of us is programmed with certain perceptions of reality. The education system, or what passes for it, is basically, it's a programming system. It's programming a perception of reality into the masses of young people and children. The media is confirming that reality, and there is a lot of fear of not succeeding, or a feeling of best things in life happen to other people, and because this system that I've been exposing for 35 years doesn't want us to be en masse sharp thinking, confident, expanded awareness. They don't want that. How do you start controlling that? You want to suppress people, not expand them in terms of their awareness, understanding, the way, and the performances that they can achieve in all their different walks of life. So the body-brain level is constantly subjected, the conscious mind, if you like, and the subconscious mind too, is subjected to fear, to doubt, to anxiety, to what if I fail? And you have this phenomenon that I've seen many times in football, where teams are frightened to win. And there are certain things that tell you why, if you study those teams. I remember the Leeds United under a manager called Don Revie. Don Revie became England manager eventually. And he had a team, Leeds United, that were extraordinary in their collective ability at that time. And they won a fraction of what that team could have won, because so often when it came to the crunch, to actually getting over the line, they would fall apart. And interestingly, Don Revie was infamous in football, including the England team, for his dossiers, in which he would hand players, like the night or two nights before, a dossier on the player who was most likely to be marking them, or they were marking. And it would be incredibly detailed. Some of these the players have talked about this, former England players and stuff. about these dossiers they were given. And what that tells you is that the manager is frightened of losing. Instead of saying, you've got fantastic ability, go out and play, it was worrying about the opposition and what they might do and how they might play. Now, that you can do that to a certain extent, that's fair enough, but we're talking fine detail that Revie went into. And that tells you that the guy was a guy who was frightened of failure, because you don't need fine detailed dossiers. You just need to know something about the other team. Yeah, but then you let them worry about us.
Yeah.
And so Leeds United won a fraction of what their ability should have won, because of that. And it's another thing, about sport and management and coaching. Let's take football management. You have an individual mind, if you like, individual players with their individual foibles and anxieties and whatever. But you also have a collective mind of the team, where the sum total of all those individuals become the collective mind of the team. And that collective mind and individual mind, come to that, is impacted upon very much by the manager and the manager's attitude, the manager's way of dealing with players, the manager's level of confidence or lack of it. And what can happen is that collective mind of the team, if they play for this manager for long enough, starts to express the manager, and the whole thing becomes a collective mind in which the manager is the manager's mindset becomes extremely important to the way the team operates. And in terms of Don Revie, his fear of losing would have been passed on to that collective mind of the team. You get another manager who's super confident, and that will be passed on to the team. You'll have a super confident team playing for him, and if he's of a certain mindset, he will be picking players and who he signs and who he doesn't on the basis of their mindset. This is coming into football more and more now, which is a good thing, rather than their apparent ability to play. And so you look at a player and you look at their mindset and you look at what their anxieties are. You look at whether they're confident, whether they're a knowing player, or whether they're a hope and thinking player. And then you start to talk to them, it's what I would do anyway, about the fact that actually they are two people. There's the programmed conscious mind and the programmed subconscious mind, because the subconscious is picking up programming from life experience as well. And then there's expanded levels of consciousness beyond the body that can override the anxieties and the fears and the fear of failure of the conscious mind, and just keep inserting into them that their performance relates to their sense of self, their sense of possibility, their sense of knowing rather than thinking or hoping. And it won't happen necessarily overnight, but you can instill this mindset into people where they they go from hoping and thinking they'll do well to just knowing it.